So there you are with your kids. You're going through all of this stuff. You're going through your emotions. They're seeing it.
Yeah.
What are some of the emotions that you went through and how did you handle it?
Um, well, there was a lot of different emotions. Again, I think after the agreement, like I said, I was happy this was done. The kids were going back and forth, and the toughest part is when the kids are there. The easiest part when the kids are there, you spend time with them, and your mind is busy with them and doing a bunch of stuff. When they're not there, that's when it's harder because now you have a lot of time to think. You're by yourself, and on top of missing your kids, and that's different because you've been used to seeing your kids every day for your whole life, and all of a sudden, and that's also a reason why a lot of people don't go through it. All of a sudden, you don't see them a week, 2 weeks out of the month, and some people it's even more. You might not see them like most of the month and just a weekend. So that's a tough part because you sit down. I remember sitting down here in my apartment. It was very quiet, and it was the first time like you travel or you can work, and obviously you don't see your kids, but eventually you come back home and you see them. And now it's the first time you sit down there. It's like, you know what? For the next 7 days, I'm by myself. I won't see my kids. And I know there's communication. I know there's you can call them, but it's not the same. And funny enough, is it's always uh, when someone is not there, then you want them there even more, right? So that I remember sitting here and thinking like missing them, but I'm like, oh, I'd love to do this. Oh no, they're not there. I'd love to do that. So everything really turns around that. And so that was the kid part. And also you start thinking about my divorce wasn't final, so there was also a lot of work from that point to get it final. So there was a lot of things there, and the new lifestyle as well. Like I said, the agreement was there, but money wise, so there's the money, the work as well. I had to manage with work. I was working from home, which was difficult at the time too, with all this happening, because I was always stuck in the same place. So I started walking and thinking it was my way to start thinking about it, about what was happening. And I mean, so the feeling with the kids after that, personally, there was a lot of guilt, like I said. Also, the mood started to go down quite quickly as well. I remember starting to think, okay, now this is done, but now how will I manage? Right now, the next many years, I have to pay this and that, and I have to deal with the kids. Now I have an apartment, and so how will I manage my life? How will I make it? And you start thinking about that, and I have to say that um, for a little while, I was probably depressed. I never went to see anybody, but I did a lot of walking. That's how I kind of put my mind to rest a little bit. But you start being a bit depressed because it's something new and you don't know how you'll go through it, even. And yeah, and people usually, I mean, you get scared of the unknown as well, so you don't know how this will end, and you start looking at what you signed and what you did, and the first thing I thought was, yeah, how will I be able to, start making more calculation, and how will I be able to make it through those years, the lifestyle or everything that we had, and so you get a bit depressed. I got depressed, and I think at that point, you kind of, after a while, you kind of hit a low, and I remember that low that I hit. Uh, I never had any thought of, suicidal thought or things like that. But I was at one point, I remember thinking, I understand why some people get to that point because it's something tough. And that's where on my side, I decided at that point, I realized that there's only a few things that are important in life and to focus on those. And that really helped me. I mean, you know, as long as you can put some food on the table for the kids are healthy, you're healthy. Yes, projects, you still have a job and you're working, and you have to kind of count your blessings on that one.
What does that look like?
And
Like when you say count your blessings, what does that look like? Like did you do
well,
meditation? Did you, aside from walking, what else did you do so that you can really embody that? That's like, you
so I mean, my walking was kind of a meditation for me. So it was really, really that. And my kids saw me. I was going sometimes so 2, 3 walks a day, like an hour and a half every time. And so they kind of made fun of it, but it was kind of my way to kind of escape a little bit and just be on my own and think and meditate too. I mean, it was kind of all part of that. And it was good because I could walk and think about what was happening, and and kind of calm my mind a little bit. But at the same time, it was bad because it was giving me time to think about things too as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword on that front. So so counting my blessings. Well, I knew my life changed. It wouldn't be the same. Again, it was basically with debts because lawyers and me the only provider, and like I said, a lot of things to pay. So you have debts, and some months it was difficult to make what everything had to be paid. So so you start thinking about that, but at the same time you realize that you can't start to worry what will happen in a month or 2 months or 3 months. You really have to take it day by day, and that's what I started to do. So I was starting to think about okay, today we went through, today was good, and let's see tomorrow, and tomorrow would happen, and I was like, you know what, tomorrow was good too. So after a little while I started realizing, oh, it's been a week, and that week it was difficult, but it's still manageable, and it was 2 weeks, it was a month. And I think that's what kind of helped me personally go through it, is instead of looking at the big pictures, which might be really scary, is kind of break it down as wins every day, right?
Yeah.
And some days there were some wins. I remember like, um, just one day for some reason, I don't know what happened with work and things like that, but I got a bonus that was really unexpected, for example, and out of the blue. And I was like, and it just was the perfect timing because I had to pay something. I don't remember what. So so this there's things like that started happening, and that's what I started kind of focusing a bit more. And it's funny when you start focusing on the good things, that's again, that lifted my spirit a little bit more. And like I said, day after day you realize that you still moving and life's still going and nobody's dying. And that you go, after, like I said, after probably a couple of months, I realized that, what, I think I'll make it through. And that's where I started going, I guess, up instead of going down. So
Well, the walking, I can totally relate to you. So I did the same thing. A friend of mine who had gone through a divorce, he said, every time that you talk, whether you call somebody to vent or whatever, go on a walk.
that's
And
true.
I put on, I think I put on more miles than Forrest Gump with the walking
Oh
that I
yeah.
did.
I agree. And like I said, my kids will look at me, they will laugh because like, you're going again. And yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I walk so much, and yeah, that really helped. That for me really did it on that front. And but like I said, that on top of the walk is really, that made me realize during my thinking is I think looking at the day to day and try, just enjoy your day, and it'll be another day, and there's always, so that's what made things going better. And at the same time, I mean, I'm saying that and people will say probably like, it's not as easy, and it is not. Obviously you have to push yourself and you do things. So I started like, not at the beginning, but once you do day by day and you say you're kind of getting out a bit of the bottom, you realize, okay, so maybe, you know what, let me see what I can do in my job. So I decided to start my own company, which I wanted to always do, and got some contracts there, which was amazing. And so that was another win that I would not have done before. And even the kids, different activities, but also kind of bonding a bit more with the kids, and spending time with them, and so that also help on that front. And reaching out. I reached out to some people. I have to say, during that time when I was on my low, last thing I wanted to do was talking to people, and maybe that wasn't a good idea. But but after that, you start talking a bit more to people, and it's a bit more positive, and and they feed you too, and I mean, at that point, everything kind of started changing by itself, and everything was getting better day by day. So at the end of my day, that's what I was doing. I was thinking like, okay, so thinking back about today and trying to find good things that happened during the day. And
I want to
yeah.
keep following you down this road, but there's something that keeps knocking on my door, and it's called
Hmm.
when you said depressed. You were like, I was
Yeah.
depressed, and you started walking. What was the turning point? Like, when was the moment? So in other words, you were there at the beginning, right? You went through
Yeah.
several years of this ongoing battle of trying to get closure. You finally get closure, and you had that moment that you described when
Hmm.
when it was over, and you were like, that you could breathe. But with the depression, right?
Yeah.
What was the moment? What was the turning point for you that you were like, man, if I would have done this 3 months ago or a year ago, I would have gotten here quicker. Let me share this with somebody. Or what was the moment that did it for you that you can remember?
Um, well, I mean, the moment, uh, I mean, I was talking about the depression, and I mean, the moment really that, is there a specific moment? I, I think, again, I think the moment I realized that uh, it's all about yourself, right? I mean, I can be miserable and just stay in that hole and just stay and just say, poor me. And the moment I realized, I think that's where it's kind of changed, that it was up to me, and let's try to again look forward. So what was done was done. I wish a lot of things would have been done differently, and I was thinking about things that could have been done differently, and maybe that was a problem too. Thinking about, oh, I should have done that, I should have not done that, maybe I should have asked for this and that, but it's too late. It's done, and I know I kept just thinking about that and say, oh, I'll make it. I should have made that, and trying to find ways maybe to change that. But I think at one point I realized, like, okay, this is done. There's nothing I can do. Now it's in the past. That's how it was done. So now really we have to focus on, okay, how do I get out of that? And what can I do to get out of that? What can I do for it to be better? And how can I manage it as well? And how can I? So that's what I started doing. And like, that's what kind of brought me out of this, looking at, kind of working with it instead of just being depressed and just like kind of thinking about it and just regretting and feeling bad. And yeah, so I think that was a turning point when I realized that we can't change it. I mean, it's done.
Acceptance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
acceptance, exactly. And sometimes it takes a long time, and but at the end you have to move forward. And yeah.
They say that, and I started reading a lot when I was going through my divorce, and there was
Mhm.
I kept reading about the emotional stages and the emotional stages, and
Yeah.
and everything that I read, they always said that the acceptance was when you know that you were done with your divorce.
That's a wrap on another episode of Divorce the First 6 Months. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more insights. Take care.